Can you check?
No, it's working.
Perfect. All right, we are ready when you are. So you want us to start? Yep. Right, all right. Then you need to push a lot more people. I think they gone out for lunch. All right, very good afternoon. Show me some energy. Still louder. Kakinada does better. Once more.
Paina. Top floor. Yeah, that's it.
Love you for that. All right. Done. So for the next 30 to 40 minutes, we're going to do something very exciting. And the reason why I call it exciting is because while you heard a lot of things about AI and agents and agentic AI and so on and so forth, for the next 30 minutes, it's all about students, your careers, your jobs, your placements. So if there is going to be a direct impact on what you're going to do starting today, so that you can have a very bright chance of being relevant in the industry with all these things happening in the world, this is the session. So, so we'll kickstart that. So, yep. So the topic for today is this: the future of work with AI. The topic might slightly seem intimidating: displacement, augmentation, or transformation. So what we are trying to do here is, I'll spend a couple of minutes just to set the context so that we are all on the same page. These are all fancy words, right? What is displacement? What is transformation? What is augmentation? So we'll spend a little time to understand what these words are, so that when the experienced people, the learned people on the stage use these words, it means the same thing for all of us. Next slide, please. All right. So you've been hearing a lot about artificial intelligence, right? One thing which this session will do is to talk a lot about real intelligence, real emotions, the fears, the vulnerabilities that you all are going through. All right? So we're going to talk about this, and how does the human emotion or your current state of mind needs to be recalibrated so that you're relevant for the world which is going to be the future for you. Next slide, please. All right, so I'll spend exactly 60 seconds talking about these three very interesting words which is a part of the topic. You must be reading a lot of stuff, hearing a lot of people, watching a lot of YouTube videos. I lose jobs. This is not the job which I'll get. The job market is going to be different. It used to be Java earlier, now it's Python. No, now it's not even Python, it's something to do with AI agents and stuff like that. So let's talk about the three very important words which is going to be the theme for today. The first one is displacement. Displacement means that when AI comes in and it takes away a certain role or a job, that means what you are as a human being doing, if it does on its own, without any much support or any interaction, that specific role is no longer needed. So the person is displaced. So this is very important for you to understand. One small example can be, nowadays if you look at a lot of videos how cars are manufactured, and one of the other speakers were telling that every 4 seconds a phone is made and stuff like that, a Xiaomi phone. That means it is done by a robot. A human intervention is no longer required, so the human is displaced. What jobs will be displaced? What should you do? Does it impact you? That is what is going to be the thing. But what we are trying to understand is, what does displacement mean? The second most important thing is augmentation, augment. That means, the example I will tell you so that you will understand. So one of the examples, and again the esteemed speaker was telling that, if a doctor uses AI to look at a diagnostic report and make a much more finer, predictable, deterministic kind of a decision about what medicines you should use, should you go for a surgery or not, but the doctor is using the help of an AI tool. That means a doctor is been augmented by some support system or an AI system. That means the doctor is still needed. His experience will come in, but he will make decision based on data. So this is called augment. That means you need both AI as well as a doctor. This is one example. What is the third category? This is called transformation. That means it is not about displacement, it's not about augmentation. For example, in the US, there are cars which drive on their own. It's not a fantasy, it's truth. If you go to California and some of the other states, you order a cab, it actually comes without a driver. So this is an industry which we never expected. So AI is now doing things which is creating new industry segments. So this is called transformation. All right? Next slide, please. So now that we understood these three very important words, why am I setting this context for this is, okay, let AI come, let AI go. Why is it important? It's important for three different categories of people. One is the students, my friends, young friends in this hall. Second is for the academia, some professors and faculty members are here. And the third, of course, is the industry. Now, let's start with the students, that is majority of the hall today. Why is this topic important for you? It's not that you're going to have a good lunch here, you listen to some watch interesting videos and go back home. It is important for you because by the time you're in third year, 3-2 or 4-1, companies are going to come, large companies, mid-sized companies or startups, or you might decide to do a startup. End of the day, you are in an era where AI is going to be impacting your choice of roles which you're going to take up and how you're going to take up and how you're going to succeed there. How placements happened with large companies earlier is not how they're going to hire today. So it is important for you to know and understand what is the impact of AI. Why professors? Because they are the conduit, they are the interface between helping you be ready for the world. So we're going to ask the panelists here, spend some time to specifically talk to us about what should the academia, whether at a university level, college level, at a very grassroots, in a classroom level, what should some of the things which the professor should do differently to make sure that they are relevant and the students they are helping train are relevant for the jobs in the world in the future. And last but not the least, we heard a lot of the industry people speak today. How is it impacting their industry, whether it is Bosch, whether it is Google, whether it is any other company which we're talking about, how is it impacting them? So the reason why this session is very important for you, this is going to be a marquee session for the next 30 minutes, is because if you understand this part, you have some actionable items, some fantastic, I was talking during lunch to Mr. Suresh and Dr. Ravi. They are going to talk to you about actionable items, something which you can do starting today so that you're relevant, all right? So before I start, firstly, thank you so much. And this is my favorite part, not because I am hosting it, because this is the most relevant thing my young friends in the audience can take away from. So what we're going to do is to, Prezi please, can we have Mentimeter? Can we have the poll? So what we're going to do is that, because there are a lot of audience, young crowd here, next slide please. We want you to understand what is their pulse. So all the people, this is the only session where you are allowed to take your mobile phones out. Take your mobile phones out, go to your camera, go and click this. It will open up something called menti.com. So I see the counter there are about 5, 7, 8, 10 people. I need at least about 300-400 people. That's what is the set of people today. Thank you for all those people who are giving likes. I think all the likes are for the two esteemed gentlemen here, Mr. Suresh and Mr. Ravi, Dr. Ravi. Done. The moment it touches a double century, I'll move on to the first question. And the reason why we are doing this is that the session will be directed, or it is going to be focused on what you want to hear, or where do you want to hear, so that we know the pulse of it? All right. Can you have the second slide, please? Next slide, please. All right. So how do you feel about the impact of AI on your future? Are you excited? Are you curious? Are you anxious, worried? Or you're not sure, you don't care? Let us see, I still have time for my placement. What is it going to be? All right. I think the excitement is there because of all, the credit goes to all the speakers who did the fabulous job in the morning. You got all the students here excited about it. So that's a very positive trend. Some people are curious, about 128, 130 people are excited, 70 people are curious. 4 are unsure, 8 are anxious. Trust me, if you ask me, I am somewhere between curious and anxious. So there's nothing wrong to be curious and anxious because there's so much of things happening there and we are not very sure of. All right, next slide, please. Okay, if AI could take away something from your task as a college student, what would you happily outsource it to AI? All right, there's a big race between job and oh, who are these wonderful people who still want to attend an 8 a.m. class? All right, but it's such heartwarming to hear for jobs on LinkedIn. Wonderful. And that's one of the things which we want to cover, and some very, very interesting hands-on tactics and tips and tricks are going to be shown on that. Wonderful. So the most important thing you want to do is apply for jobs, and second is exam preparation, please. So you want the most important questions done. Next slide, please. All right. According to you, based on what you have heard, what you have read, what do you think is the most important skill according to you? Then we'll hear from the panel what they think is it. Are we on the same side? Do you think, oh, most of the people think that creativity matters most? Next, critical thinking. Next, adaptability. Ethics and empathy. Data and data fluency is the last thing. All right. Done. Now, I hope, Mr. Suresh, Dr. Ravi, you got a pulse of what they're thinking, where they stand. They're excited. They're not as anxious as we think they should be. So, all right. So, all right, let's dive into straight. We're going to do some very, very simple 3 rounds of questions, and one more panelist, if he's stuck on an important business call. In case he comes in, he'll join us. He's from TCS. All right. So, Dr. Ravi, so the reason why this panel is very interesting is Dr. Ravi comes from the industry background. He spent a lot of time in the corporate. Now he's, I would call, entrepreneur in residence at an academic institution. So his relevance comes because his answers, his insights are very, very grounded in practical scenarios which happen. And of course, we have a legend based out of Visakhapatnam, hardcore techie, hardcore strategist, tech strategist, based out of Vizag, looking at the Infosys campus. So let's start with the very, very basic, and both of you learned people have to forgive me for asking very basic questions. I'm asking as if I'm a first-year student in engineering, and with a lot of hype, I got anxious when I heard some tech stuff here. Let's start with the first thing. We'll start with you, Suresh. You lead large enterprise projects. You have a team here, you have a team in Hyderabad, you travel between these 2 cities. What is the current sentiment in 2 parts? One, of the people who are currently leading these projects, delivery leaders and so on and so forth. And when they're thinking about how do they continue to be relevant in the industry, what's going on in their head?
I'll start off with my career. When I started my career in 1999, as software engineer, I was put onto mainframes. Then everyone started in my family. I am the youngest in all my cousins, 12 cousins, I am the youngest boy. Okay. So everyone said, mainframes, after 2 years you are done, you don't have a job. Then I started continuing mainframes to AS400, then into Java, then into .NET, then into data, big data. Then came the cloud revolution. Now we are talking of AI revolution. In all these things, one thing was common in me, the learnability, the excited. It was exciting to come to from mainframe, jumping into AS400 was a learning for me. Then getting into the Java, client-server network sort of a thing. It was a learning for me. But I never stopped, that enthu in me never stopped, that excited me. And one thing was in common, I was working for top-notch retailers. All my 26 years of my IT career was serving retailers. So that domain knowledge I carried helped me to jump from one to the other very easily. So one thing that I can say is the learnability and the enthu that you need to show to learn the next one, and take it as a challenge and learn it as fast as you can. And being relevant with the latest trends that are happening in the retail industry, that helped me to come up with best efficient solutions to my customers. So that learning is important, and don't fear of change. Generally people, once they say, I am a Java expert, why should I get into the other new technology? Then you are dead there. So you should be ready to take that challenge and dive deep and learn it faster.
Right. So what are the one or two things which you see your leaders who work with you, what's going on in their head with all these changes happening?
See, one thing, this transformation, every 2 years transformation do happen. Now, earlier it was 2 years, now it's coming to 6 months of transformation. Correct. One critical project that I worked in, where the designers used to design a product 2 years in advance. So for 2027, they need to design it today. So they have to predict it.
Okay.
Now we have given them a predictable tool which can make sure they can, from design till the concept or the SKU, till the product reaches the SKU, right? It used to take 24 months. Now we were able to reduce that cycle, the learning cycle, to get down to 4 months.
Okay.
So from design to product, it was 24 months, now we brought it to 4 months. So imagine what is the cost saving that is coming to the customer. So the leaders think fast and adapt fast with the latest technologies and bring it to reality. So adapting is one part of it, and getting it to reality is the next part of it. That's where most of them fail. So,
wonderful.
So today, when I started my career, I was given a program to write. I finished my program, then evolution started. Today, software engineers are not a program writing or a code writing, because AI does the code for me. Correct. He just needs to check whether the code written by the AI is correct or wrong. Today we are looking at software engineers in a different scenario. When I started, we were coding, then we came into problem solving. Now, I don't want any problem solvers from the young generation. I want them be like a problem predictors.
Problem predictors.
So the next generation of software engineers who join in the next 1 year, 2 years, they will not be writing code for sure. I can tell them. They should be able to predict the problem which is going to occur. Beautiful. Based on the historical data that is available, and come up with a solution to fix that problem before it occurs.
Excellent. Such a beautiful thing you said. You're not looking for problem solvers. You want problem predictors.
Yes.
I'll hold you to this word. You've been on the industry side. Now you're on the academy. When you were in the industry, you used to go to colleges and pick up students, and you had a certain framework of what the student, a certain model, mental model of a student should have these behaviors, these hard skills, soft skills. Now you're on the other side, you are supplying the most relevant people to the industry. What has changed?
Yeah, thank you so much for setting the ground. In fact, just elaborate more, when we were kind of joined as an intern way back in 1997 in Wipro, right? We were writing RB's bridge. That is actually a Microsoft unable to talk to Java object. We were kind of bridging. That was the days. I don't think today that scenario exists at all, right? I think that is kind of transition we are going to talk now. So let me set the context for the students today. Beyond collaboration from an academic side or from a placement perspective, there is some confusion which I want to kind of ground here. The confusion is very clear, right? Because we are all in the transition time. So in our title, right, I think we are talking about three terms. One is displacement, the second one is the augmentation, and the third one is transformation. The displacement is nothing but a fear, augmentation is nothing but a shift, and transformation is nothing but a opportunity. Let us talk about fear first, right? So let me state certain statements before all of you, and then I will come to how the industry is collaborating with academia or the universities, how universities actually kind of coming back, and what is the stage where we are set in. I will set the context before that. So let me come with certain statistics on the grounding perspective. Way back in 2017, I'm only referring to the 2017-18 because this was a pre-AI era, right? I think that was the last stage of, last bunk of this whole process, right? So way back in 2017 to 25, I'll compare and put some statistics before all of you, right? So way back in 2017, the number of engineering graduates are approximately around 1.7 million. Today, we are almost like a 2.2 million, right? I think that is a baseline. When it comes to the employability, the core tech employability per se, right? It was 17% at that time, and today we are at a 45%. That's a good news, but the bad news is skills are completely diffused, right? I think this is a point number 2. When it comes to the AI adoption by the companies, right? Especially when you are sending a resume to any company, the first thing is not HR is going to see. It is your AI ATS system is going to scrutinize your resumes and take a decision, right? I think that is the situation. Way back in 2017, it was only just 9% adoption. Today, I think more than 37% adoption, and that is a good news partly, right? Having said that, in spite of this kind of momentum in AI, right? But still, the hiring time, way back in 2017, it was just 14 days. But today, after all this AI, from morning to now, I think we've been talking so much of automation, so much of transformation and all that. The hiring time has been increased by average, I'm talking about, by 37 days. I think this is a recent report by TeamLease, right? In terms of recruiters reporting some confusion or ambiguity of skills, right? Way back in 2017, it was 25%. That ambiguity has been increased to 64% as of now, right? So while we are talking about some great news, there is some kind of confusion also. Let me elaborate on these numbers in terms of qualitative parameters, why this confusion exists. Let us first resolve the confusion part, then we will talk about the collaboration part. There are 4 statements I want to make here. The first statement is too many credentials by all of you, right? I think when you are sending resume, right? I think too many badges, too many hackathons, too many products, and too many kind of participation into multiple events and all that. But HR is totally confused with which are actually real, which are non-real, right? I think because thanks to the kind of LLMs today, I think they're generating very fast. That is a first number confusion, right? So recently, one recruiter on Reddit, I think he made this statement. I'm actually, verbatically, I'm reading that statement, right? What he says is, every other resume I scrutinize, right? They are talking about, I built a LLM, I built a ChatGPT using LLM, right? But I'm totally confused who has actually deployed and which is kind of real. I think this is a recent statement by one of the top recruiters, right? I think that is the confusion part of it. The second confusion is an arms race. One side, companies are deploying AI agents, AI ATS trackers and so on, so that they can scrutinize your resumes fast. Other side, you are also deploying AI agents to write a better resumes. I don't think anybody is writing today, right? I think most of you are actually feeding into some GPT pro versions and so on and building your resume. So both are kind of arms race is actually happening. That is a second issue right now. The third issue is, I think, the undefined roles, especially in the AI contest. Some of the roles like a prompt engineer, some of the roles like a AI product manager, all that is great, right? But having said that, when you go to the campus selection today, the recruiters are not aware how do we really test and evaluate you. Still, they will actually give you a laptop or a computer to do a small coding test, and you code something, and finally, I think they'll be testing on the problem solving only. But they are unable to test on an AI perspective, right? This is the third confusion. The fourth important confusion for the recruiters and for the universities today is the definition of employability. Way back when we were studying and when we were working in those days, right? Employability is you write a code, you execute a code, and you deploy a code. That is called employability. Today, I'm not talking about extraordinary people. I'm only talking about the average IQ people, like most of the tier 2 colleges and so on. The employability per se, I think these students are predominantly using LLMs to do the coding, validate, execute, and also to deploy, right? I think we are not really using our original thought process of learning from the scratch and so on. So this is actually confusing the employability skill also. Whether you're really able to debug or not, I think people are not able to kind of do this. Having in this entire chaos, right, still colleges and universities, the R&D companies are trying to do something. I'll give a couple of examples. One example is from the TI, right? I think Texas Instrument, they started a design challenge, and they started engaging more than 400 colleges across India, and they selected 25 teams, and they actually started a lab to fab concept, right? So when someone is kind of selected in this entire process, they are actually offering a patent rights. Similarly, Intel has actually started a co-design lab in IIT Chennai, and they started the similar approach, and the final prize money is you get an internship and also patent rights along with Intel. Similarly, I think there are other companies like a Qualcomm. They started this edge device, computing device and optimization and so on. Again, it is a challenge. You get a chance to work with Qualcomm for 1 semester with their data sets and so on, and finally you would actually get in there. Still, some R&D focused companies where they know the goal, right, they're able to manage this way. Having said that, the entire, if you take the overall landscape of the entire R&D companies, more than, I think, 62 R&D percentage of R&D companies in India today, they're engaging some or other way with some academic institution, right from the TCS to Infosys to everyone. I think some or other engagement on the AI perspective. That is a good news. Yeah. But the bad news is more towards how you actually respond to this whole scenario. How, as a student, right, how do you participate and ensure that you get into that column of R&D, right? I think are the kind of problem-solving skill. How do you prove, correct, right? So, I think that is
exactly. So I'm getting
yeah.
We are running short of time. Yeah. There's so much to cover because Gyan Bhandars, both of you are. So I want to extract as much as I can. So I'll just take from him. So he's told how the scenario has changed. So if I were somebody already working in a large organization like yours, and I want to continue to succeed, just join 1 or 2 years, what is the organization doing specifically to help them be relevant? We want to hear what are the organizations in general doing and what's specifically being done in your organization. Very quick, 2 minutes, because I have a half a dozen more questions.
In our organization, we are around 3.5 lakh employees working, and all of us are AI aware. Okay. So what we do is, whenever a new shift comes, right, we make sure all of us have the basics of it. Correct. So AI aware is all employees in Infosys should have completed a session or taken a basic learning of AI. Then they are aware of AI. Then the next step comes, how do I use that in my day-to-day life? How is it making my life efficient? That comes how I use the tools and how I make it happen. Then how I create agents to help my day-to-day life make it more efficient. Then we get into the next level, the highest level, where they create the agents, they dance with the agents and make the agents dance along with it.
Dance with the agents.
So that's what we look at. So even when we hire freshers, there are 3 levels of hiring that we do. If we are talking of whoever can make and dance with the AI will be into the 10 lakh package. Whoever can make those agents would be at the 6 lakhs package, and whoever uses those AI tools to make themselves available, they'll be into the 4 lakh package. So if you need a bigger package, you need to dance with AI.
Wonderful. This is such a brilliant insight. So within the spectrum of how your proficiency and what competencies, capabilities you bring to the table, are you a shaper? Are you a maker? So this is very interesting how you said. I'll now take it back to you. Now that we heard what the industry in general, their industry leaders, and so is the rest of the large, the brethren as we call it, their other companies. Now we have understood what they're looking for, right? So shapers, makers, and takers, as we call it. What is your capability level? If that is the specific ask or the need of the industry today, how is it from a college, what are the specific one or two takeaways very quickly in a couple of minutes, which your institution is doing, and what is some good input for the institutions and the professors and the leaders in the audience to be ready for what they're asking?
Yeah. So I want to clarify on this particular, what is that we are doing are for the most of the colleges, right? I want to be blunt with my answer. Most of the students, right, I think when we give an assignment, immediately they are turning on to the ChatGPT and doing something. I'll actually give a small, not story, probably I think incident, and then I think you can actually take a call. What do you want to do from today onwards? You know, there is a professor from Harvard University recently visited India, and he made a presentation to the India Conclave, India Today Conclave. And I think he was actually giving a small note on this. They were actually doing an experiment with a particular group of students. I think he was referring to MIT study, right? The group is being divided two, and one group is given completely AI bots. I think they were teaching, they were given access, and so on. Other group was completely banned with an AI, and they were only given Google search, right? I think that is how the first step is been done. So when after some time, they flipped both of them, and they have actually given a real-time problem. You know what? The group actually used AI, could able to respond fast, but they could not able to apply fast. Whereas the group who was involved into the Google search, they were delayed in their response in the presentation or in the application or so, but they could able to apply their understanding fast, better, right? So this is the study done by so many psychologists recently, and the excessive usage of AI or GPTs, ChatGPT per se, your cognitive ability or the cognitive paralysis would actually continue. So mind, I think you should use AI only for certain use cases where you cannot do something, right? Probably I think if it is something beyond your level, better use it. But for every learning, if you start using AI, probably I think you are decreasing your cognitive ability, right? So, I think, please, I think they should stop doing that.
Perfect. So in a minute, can you tell me what are one or two good use cases for a student, my friends here, where it is good to use AI and where they should refrain the gratification of an instant answer, and then what would
so I will tell you from a software engineering perspective. Sure. The moment we ask, can you type a small program, A plus B is equal to C, immediately they are going and prompting something and getting done, right? That is what I think mostly. What is that they are losing in the process? They are losing the debugging capability. See, in those days, in our days, debugging means we used to write comments in between lines, and we have to go line by line and understand the whole thing. What happened after 10 years? Stack Overflow has come, something that it got reduced. True. But today, even for debugging, they are going back to ChatGPT and getting a new code. Again, understanding, you are going back. So I think the loop is continuing.
What would you want?
They should not rely on GPT for learning purpose, right? GPT is only meant for automating some repetitive task, not for your learning. If you rely on GPT for learning, probably I think we lose the cognitive ability.
So I'll take this. Such a beautiful example is given. If somebody were to join your organization and continue to have a stellar growth, where is it that you're telling that logic, critical thinking, problem prediction is where you need to apply your cognitive thinking? And where is it you draw a line and say, hey, for these things, I want a little more from an industry perspective examples where you are, as a part of your onboarding program, where are you telling people, this is where you use AI, this is where you don't?
So first thing is, the first 3 years, what they learn, right? I don't want them to be part of the AI journey or anything. Just learn the business process.
Okay.
That's where the learning comes. If you don't understand the business for whom you're writing a program, if you don't understand the bigger picture, what your program is going to impact on the business, right? So you need to understand business first, and it takes 2.5 years for you to understand the business. Once you understand business processes perfectly, then comes how you can make it efficient. Then comes how you can predict the failure. Then comes how you can come up with a solution for that prediction. Today, my team can predict. I serve for one of the major sports retailing brands, and they have around 6,000 stores across the globe. And my team can predict which part of the point of sale machine can go wrong 2 hours in advance and inform the store to fix it so that the store does not stop.
So what you're telling me is that while technologies will come and go, AI different versions will come, a deep domain knowledge.
Yes.
For your example, it's retail, somebody, it might be financial services, it might be insurance, it might be utilities, energy. A deep domain understanding is what will hold you on the long stay.
Yeah, and that's where you use AI to give you efficiencies.
Correct.
And if you don't have that knowledge, you know all the chat GPT or perplexity and all those tools that you know, but you don't know where to use it and how to use it.
Correct. And such an interesting thing, I was in Bangalore a couple of days ago, and I was meeting a very senior industry leader. And I was asking him, how has your current set of leadership learned to deal with AI? So he gave a very interesting example. He said, I called one of my leaders and asked him to make a presentation. And now presentations can be made through AI and all that. He came with a 60-slide presentation. So this gentleman who's been there, done that, he said, please shut down your laptop. Can you summarize your 60 slides using a whiteboard marker? Just tell me what is the key takeaway. And this person could not. So that's such an interesting thing, saying that while it will help you do things faster, if you don't have a deep domain knowledge, if you don't have a grip on the concepts and the domain, you will fail miserably and faster, fail faster as we say, using this. So I will hold you again to this. You are on the industry side, you are perpetually looking for bright young talent like this, and you're going to colleges like KITE or GITAMs or other things. What is your expectation from them? What should they start doing in the second, third, and fourth year students, where they still have a 3-year window, while things are changing very rapidly? But if you were to go to their college or KITE college this year, next year, what is your expectation out of the faculty / the institution and the students?
So I would have done some 10,000 fresher interviews till date.
I'm sure.
So, and my HR says that could be the highest number for an individual in the country. So I have the better knowledge of what I expect from, and we also need to know that I am being given only 10 to 15 minutes to assess a student,
Correct.
a nervous student,
Correct.
who enters into the interview room, right?
Correct.
So I predominantly look at the confidence of an individual and see my tiebreaker sort of a situation for a student, right? If this guy is given to me into my team, can I make him work? That's my tiebreaker. So that's how I decide whether he will be part of my team.
So what specific attribute is
coming to
you're
that?
looking for?
I'm coming to that. I see most of these guys are from China. China is the Chaitanya Narayana learnings of intermediate, right? And the learnings are also like the China products. So even my
You touched their nerve.
so my kids, I have twin boys. Both of them are also from China, Chaitanya. So they were preparing for their MSET examinations 2.5 years back, and I was just watching them what they're doing. They saw the question on the computer and they wrote the answer. I said, how did you come to this answer? They said, for this question, this is the answer. So that's where my thought provoked. What are they doing? Then I said, how did you come to this answer? Any approach? No, that for this question, this is the answer. If the number changes, the answer numbers also changes, but they also told them the way. If this is in the range of this number to this number, range of the answer also will. So, yeah, in a sense, it's good to have, but they have to come out of that way of.
So, I'll, on behalf of my young friends, what are these one or two questions which you really are waiting for an answer which says, now he's got it? Give me one or two.
So
I'm leaking the question paper.
Okay.
So what are the one or two questions which
Question, right. For a computer science students, it's a very simple question. I need to know how efficient his programming skills are.
Okay.
That's one critical thing that I need to know. So a simple question. All these 300 students, right? If I ask them, 90% of them will give me an answer. So I want you to give me a program to give me sum of even numbers between 1 to 10.
All right.
So 99% or 90% of the students starts, I take a number, divide by 2, remainder is 0. Then I go ahead and add it and put it into a loop and it goes till 10.
All right.
So this is a generic answer. But any student will write the same way. But what I'm looking at an efficient programmer. So how do I look at it? If a guy comes and tells me, sir, I will have a variable, mark it as equal to 0, and say +2. So every +2 is an even number. So in a computer science, right, the first day when I was learning from I'm a material science metallurgical engineer, moved into computer science. The first day when I was learning software engineering, the first class I was told, right, memory is money. M equal to M. Memory is money. So how efficiently I use memory is what the savings that I do. From this example, if I say 0 plus 2, where it says all the even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, it uses addition as a arithmetic operation, which is efficient compared to division or multiplication. When I use division, I have to store the memory, I have to store the modulars, and the amount of memory required to store these variables is higher. So I'm using more memory. So the cost is higher. So this is what we look at, the different way of looking at approaching a problem, right?
Brilliant.
So this is what we look at.
Wonderful. I'll come to you. So they have told what their expectations of the students or the output which is coming out of it. What are one or two expectations you have from the industry so that end of the day you're producing, or we are all producing young students to be relevant? What is one or two, if you had to ask and God said, done, you'll get it from the industry, what are the one or two things you want from them?
I don't know whether it is possible or not, the wish which I have. I think this year, BITS Pilani started a BDES course, right? In fact, my son joined, that's how I came to know.
Congratulations.
And they started in Mumbai, not in Pilani. They started this BDES course and they abolished the examination process. Completely only exhibitions.
Okay.
No exams, only exhibitions. Every week one exhibition, you have to go out, do some practice work, come back, present, right? So the entire problem skill, see, ultimately they are also checking the problem solving skill, right? So they're just checking on a continuous assessment basis. Maybe, I think, in evaluation process, in the context of AI, still the confusion is there. See, HR still comes with, you cannot use Copilot, you cannot use browser, you cannot use any of the AI tools, but you still have to code. But you are introducing AI, right? It's a conflict of interest between students and industry. So they are also not clear, and students are also not clear on how to approach for this learning. Maybe some extent, exhibition model of evaluation, right, could actually help.
So you demonstrate your
demonstrate something and take them. Like an internship model, right? I think that is the best way, handshake between both of them.
Wonderful. So we are almost at the end of our time. So I'll do something, and in general, we had conversations about what we will cover today and so on and so forth. So now what we'll do for the next three minutes is they all come to your campus or they're in the campus helping you prepare for a test and get into, right? So we'll do some quizzing to them, all right? So a rapid fire for both of you, all right? Very, very fun. So that the answers to this, we'll come to know a little more about you, and there's going to be some input. Dr. Ravi, we'll start with you. And Chris, rapid fire, we don't need long answers. If AI could take away any one activity which you do generally every day and you're fed up of it, what would you want to outsource it to AI?
I'm already doing for my research paper. In fact, I'm using Geni.ai, and which actually does the beautiful introduction to the final. My literature survey is done through dimensions.ai and extracting it, sending it to my pro and evaluating it and building the end-to-end systematic literature survey paper, which boring subject because I'm from a different school, so which I kind of, yeah.
What would you outsource to AI?
Answers to the questions of my wife.
AI will fail. If anybody has such any models to be done, tell me you'll be a billionaire, you'll be a unicorn. I don't think AI have found answers to a wise question, but that's a good wishful thinking. Dr. Ravi, what is it that today, as of today, based on where AI is, you would not trust AI for that?
See, the emotion is completely missing out,
So you
right?
would
I
not
think
trust
any job where some emotion is connected, I don't trust it.
What would you not trust AI as of today?
I still feel it's a lot of journey for AI to make, since it does not understand, or it understands only based on the past data.
Okay.
So the data can be different, anything that was coming new. And we have multiple examples of such failures.
Yeah. It's a ChatGPT says, ChatGPT can be wrong, please verify.
Yeah.
What would be a book or a podcast which you recommend for students in this topic of relevance which we're talking about? Any book or any podcast you would recommend the young students?
See, it is not podcast, but I think the Shark Tank version, right? I think still I love it because it's a live. There's so many cases. Every day you learn something continuously. So definitely I go with Shark Tank.
I would want these guys to do the Shark Tank within their campus to solve their college problems.
What a beautiful way. So all the people in the academia use entrepreneurship, innovation mindset to solve the problems which exist in the college. It
So
might be hostel, transportation,
library,
food, admission.
anything.
Very nice, very nice. What is it that one, you would use AI, one non-technical skill which you want to learn? It might be some fun activities. What is it you'll use AI to learn?
So actually we started a small, I'm not saying startup, but it is a storybook for kids, kindergarten.
Okay.
So Tarangam Tales is a new concept we started. And all my artwork is done through AI, Canva.
Wonderful. What would you
Philosophy,
learn?
philosophy.
Philosophy.
Philosophy or literature.
All right. One last and we'll kind of wrap up. If you had to have dinner with any innovator who inspires you, present or past, who would you want to have dinner with?
For me,
Yeah.
our Chief Minister CBN, sir.
A big round of applause. Why would you? This is the only thing I'll ask explanation for. Why do you want to have dinner with Mr. Naidu?
It's 25 years I'm in the IT industry. And even today, I feel I am not learned as much as he has learned, and how relevant he is with the technologies and other things that are being used. After being in 25 years in the industry, I still feel I can technology.
Wonderful. What about you?
Altman. Why? Because in fact, he democratized the AI today. Thanks to I think this was
Altman.
a research, Sam Altman, right? I think if Altman has not given the chartbot in the text, in the one text box format, right? Probably AI would have not been to this level, right? He has done that.
So if you don't
Google
know
search for
Sam
AI.
Altman, so Sam Altman is the founder of OpenAI, somebody you should who's revolutionizing how the world is going to be, and he brought AI to the forefront. So with that, thank you very, very much.
Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Ravi,
It was
thank you so
very
much.
engaging
I hope
discussion.
you people enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we call Mr. Ravi Kishore Nooni to give the mementos to the speakers? So thank you so much. It's definitely one of its kind of a session that proved the importance of knowing how and when to ask what you ask to get what you want. So appreciate totally how this session was loaded with valuable information. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to the speakers. And we so appreciate your honor for time. Thank you. Louder and more louder. This is definitely a session that deserves one. Very engaging, very interactive, and very, very a nice session. Thank you.